Okay, welcome back if you saw my last video, and if you haven't, hi, my name is Grace, and mostly I'm talking about taking a gap year because I took a gap year straight out of high school and I've been learning as I go. Roughly the first half is going to be more focused on personal goals, fun things that gonna help you enjoy this year, in my opinion. And then the second half is gonna be practical resume boosting goals that hopefully are helpful. So without further ado, let's jump in. So my first idea to do on your gap year is to start spending time in nature. Now I know that being like inside for a lot of the time, just being in a building, it's kind of hard to get out and honestly see the sun. At least for me, like on my gap year, going outside and spending time just like taking walks or trying to get into like the trees, just being able to have the time to go out and honestly appreciate like what's around us is something really valuable. Get the vitamin D on your face, in your pores. It's just so helpful to be able to take a step back, and it helps relieve stress, boosts mood. There's just so many benefits of getting in nature or just getting outside every day.
It's freezing, but the snow is nice and crunchy, so.
It's really nice and pretty easy to make it a habit. Even planting a garden, that's like another thing that you could do. Plant a bee garden, plant a butterfly garden, plant a vegetable garden, or even just plant something in your own house and then start your own little garden in the house. Whatever you're doing to connect with nature, I found on my gap year to be so helpful to getting over like being stuck inside or being stuck doing one thing. A second thing you can do is adopt a pet. I'm just gonna make this quick. Adopting a pet takes a lot of work, especially if you're adopting like a baby, like a puppy or kitten. Like they take up so much care. If you're on a gap year, you're gonna have time to take care of the kitten or the puppy or whatever baby animal. So if you've never like had the chance to get a pet, you want to go to like a local animal shelter and adopt a new friend. I have so many animals. We have 2 cats, and then we also have 2 birds and like a bunch of fish. So obviously I'm a big supporter of getting cats and pets in general, but like get whatever you want. There's so many pets out there and it can be honestly a really good experience. It develops a responsibility and love. Okay, third is travel. I know that everyone says to travel on a gap year. In your own country, just being a couple states over can sometimes feel like a totally new place. So just being able to take road trips is really good. My friend goes to college around like 6 hours away, and I drove up with her and her mom and her brother and my mom. All the leaves were changing and it was so beautiful just to be in the car with like that group of people that I love so much. So road tripping is a really good idea. Also, college visits. While I was there, I visited her college, but just going around and visiting colleges. I know that in high school, if you're visiting colleges, usually you can only stay in a town for about a day, maybe 2, because you can't take that much time off from school. But being on a gap year, if you want to pursue like college, you have the time to spend like a week in the college town area, so you can actually see what it's like. So that's like a super positive thing. So yeah, just use what you have and be wise about it. Becoming creative can take a lot of forms. Painting, drawing, writing, making pottery, making jewelry, making model houses. I don't make model houses, but I know my dad used to. It's a thing if you're into it. Even learning a new instrument. All you need to do is buy the instrument and then buy a book. These books are really good. A lot of the books are really good because they're made for people who want to teach themselves. And then if you pair that along with like random YouTube videos, you're gonna learn the instrument. I recommend starting with something like, I feel like the ukulele is really easy. It's also really cheap. Even if you just buy like a cheap instrument, like if you buy the cheapest electric guitar you can find, that's still good quality, you can save money to buy a really good electric guitar in the future. So don't be overwhelmed by the prices of the instruments. Try to find a cheaper one. Even learn how to read music. It's just like learning a new language. So that's another point. You could also learn a new language. Anything that's gonna get you creative, anything that's artistic, definitely do one of those things in your gap year because it helps you balance mood. It helps you be happier. There's just so many benefits to art, and it's on your free time. You might as well pick up a paintbrush. The fifth thing that you can do on your gap year, here you probably have really one thing in mind that you've always wanted to do, whether it's honestly travel like halfway across the world, or I don't know, work at a cafe, or just bake bread every morning, or start your own business. Whatever it is, do that thing. I know it seems pretty obvious, but it's hard because when you're on a gap year, you might find yourself dedicating your focus to other things that you didn't realize you'd be doing. For instance, if you like took a gap year to start a business and then you realize that you need to make an income before, you might find yourself get taken away by the work that you're doing right now to save up for later. So just make sure that you prioritize doing the thing that you've always wanted to do. For me, I wanted to start a YouTube channel so badly, but it's like been 6 months into the gap year and I've been so prioritized with other things that this kept getting on the back burner. Make sure that you're doing that thing. Yeah, all of that is gonna help you mature and honestly create healthy habits. Okay, second part of the video is resume boosting activities. These benefit you as well as the lives of others, and as cool as it is to like, you know, paint and do artwork, it's not really something that's gonna impress future employers or something that's gonna impress colleges. So the second half of the video is dedicated for people who really want to get those resume things that you want something to write when people ask you what you do in your gap year, right? Yes. So here we go. This is get into the grind. The first thing is getting a local part-time job. If you're taking a gap year just to work, might be a little different situation, but if you're taking a gap year to work and do other things at the same time, getting a local part-time job is your greatest asset. Even if it's just 2 days a week, that's okay, as long as it's local, and I'll explain why. So basically, at least for me, getting a part-time job was so that I could have like a steady income while pursuing other things like doing music and writing and YouTube, so that I actually had like some money set aside, because you know other things are not going to make money, at least not immediately. You're going to have very little commute time, and it's just way less stress to be working within your own hometown, especially if you're not working full-time. Basically, my point is that if you're working part-time, you want the work to work for you. Like, you don't want to spend an hour commuting a day just to make minimum wage like twice a week. It is not worth investing the time, because your time is so valuable this year and money is so valuable. Hold out for the job locally and wait until you get the right job. Don't just take the job that comes immediately, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be like, why did I take this if I could have waited? Because those 2 months without work, you can be doing other things anyway. Just trust me, hold out for the job, because I got a job locally and it's been the best thing ever. Find the job that has something to do with the field that you're interested in. So if you want to do something in like law, try to get a job at a law office. If you want to do something with healthcare, try to get something that in some kind of clinic. If you want to go into culinary arts, try to work at a restaurant. That is so important. Don't just get a job for the money. Get the job for the experience and the skills. If you're applying for law and you worked at as a waitress, that's good, but it's gonna be so much more powerful on your resume if you're applying for law school and then you actually worked at a law office. They're definitely gonna like opt for your resume, because it shows that you're dedicated and motivated and you have a clear mind and you know that you want to do it. Another thing that people really don't talk about is that you can actually call up places. Don't just look online for places that are hiring, because a lot of businesses actually don't like to put postings, because they get so, especially small businesses, they don't like to do it because they get so many resumes that they'd rather just wait until either somebody walks in or somebody recommends them to a person. It's so valuable to actually walk into a place or give a place a call and just like tell them who you are and what you're doing, and that you want, and you're looking for a job, and if they're hiring, you know, say it more eloquently. But that is such an amazing possibility that you have. You can just walk in anywhere and just say who you are, and I would say 8 times out of 10, they're gonna let you fill out a paperwork. They're gonna let you fill out a paper with your name and stuff, and then you're gonna be like, like basically the first person they're gonna call when they're looking to hire people. It works like that. Connections is super important also. So just as you're working, keep an open mind with who you talk to. That's what I've learned. Treat everybody obviously with respect, but just never underestimate who you're talking to, because you could be talking, especially at work, if you're interacting with multiple people, you could literally be talking to some like CEO of some great company, and if you make a lasting impression, you could get hired at their company. So just, you know, getting a part-time work within the field is just gonna open you up to so many possible opportunities, and that's why I recommend holding out for that like local relevant part-time job. One other thing you could do is interning. This is really, I feel like, valuable for business. And if you want to get into business, I know that like marketing, finance, accounting, they all do internships. I'm not sure if they're paid or not, but all you have to do is literally look up business internships near me, and businesses are really dying. Not dying, but their businesses are looking for high school students or gap year students who are motivated and wanna be in the business world. So if you wanna go into business or IT, things like that, really look it up, do your research. Just by doing a quick Google search, you can see so many companies are looking for interns. The skills that you're gonna develop and being able to put that on your resume is gonna be so powerful. Also, shadowing is another thing. I feel like shadowing, you hear it most with doctors, but you can also shadow like chiropractors, you can shadow probably occupational therapists, physical therapists, all those like branches of the medical field you can shadow. Shadowing is definitely not paid. However, it's gonna give you so many skills. It's gonna show you how the everyday life of the healthcare provider is. Being able to put that on your resume, again, it shows that you're determined, hardworking, motivated, and that you know what you want. Definitely call up your local hospital and just inquire. I know that every hospital is different. I shadowed a physical therapist, and all I had to do was like call up the clinic. They let me in like once a week for like an hour, and I just watched. So those things are definitely out there for you. Another resume boosting thing is volunteer work. Volunteering, guys, can actually be so much fun, connect you to so many amazing people. There are so many volunteer opportunities out there. There's like something for everybody. Just to put a bunch out there, here we go. The first one is summer camps or day camps. I put this first because I was a camp counselor. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell, but I loved working with kids at camp. I loved being in the sleepaway camp environment. Just being able to like be with the girls. I worked with like 12 and 13-year-olds, which sounds kind of difficult, but they were actually amazing because you can actually have like deep conversations with them, especially because it was like a Christian camp that I worked in. I was able to actually have like deep spiritual like talks with these girls, and you get to know so much about a person when you're in that environment. But any sleepaway camp, any day camp can actually be like a super fun time just to enjoy life, because you have such like a tight-knit group of other counselors. Camp is just fun. Like even if you're not a camper, like as a counselor, camp was honestly fun. You know, being able to participate, like you got to participate with your cabins and things like canoeing, going to the pool, playing games. It's like either way, it's great for your resume. It's super fun. I have a lot of fun memories from camp. I volunteered at Pine Bush Bible Camp. I made really great friends there because we were in a really nurturing and cared for environment. And if you're volunteering at a day camp or a summer camp, just recommend doing a lot of research on the camp. Just know what you're getting yourself into, because each camp has like a specific kind of niche. Just, talk to people about what the camp is like. Though not all summer camps are equal. definitely do your research before you just, become a counselor. Summer camp is also really tiring. Like, you get no sleep, but it's like worth it. Volunteering at healthcare centers. I just saw a job opening. They were looking for volunteers to just read aloud to patients. Things like that. Lots of clinics are open to volunteers. Animal shelters and animal rescue shelters. Even I saw this thing for like working with horses. Animal shelters are always looking for volunteers. Always looking for volunteers. Even if you want to do like marine life, just look up like marine life organizations that are looking for volunteers and you will find something. They love people to volunteer and it looks great on your resume. Another thing is environmental groups and wildlife alliances do conservation work, can be an advocate. There's so many avenues in that direction in marine biology. Science museums. This is also great if you want to work with kids in the future or you want to do anything that has to do with science. You also probably learn a lot in a science museum. Serving schools and social work. I know that there are a lot of volunteer opportunities down that path too. And then there's also, names like American Red Cross. They're always looking for volunteers. There's just so many nonprofit organizations out there. They're all over the place looking for volunteers. Not only does it look good on your resume, but you're actually making a difference in people's or animals' lives or a difference in the world. So that's super cool. Just also when you're looking up, be specific in the field that interests you, because you'll probably find a volunteer opportunity in the field that you want. So that's like super great. Getting certifications, so underrated. Some certifications you can get are EMT, first aid, babysitter, lifeguarding, CPR certification. If you want to do like IT certifications. I saw this one that was like a machine operator. You want to learn how to do like the crane stuff. IBM certifications in Excel and Word can be super handy. Being on a gap year, it's literally the time to build up your resume with skills that you probably couldn't get in other circumstances. So that's like the coolest thing ever. Yeah, so usually these certifications have a small fee. Sometimes they're free. Like I know my friend and I, the one that I visit her college, we did a babysitting certification course at the library, at her local library. And it was free and we were like certified by like the state to like be babysitters. It took like 2 hours. It's a really valuable and fulfilling way to spend your time. Also, all the certifications obviously take a different amount of time to get and different amount of work. I know the babysitting one was kind of easy because we just sat in a class, but some of these other certifications, it might be like a once a week class for 6 months. Everything is a little different, so definitely find something that works for you and something that you're interested in. And remember, these are like so valuable since you're not at school. Showing employers and colleges that you have been learning, self-motivated and learning on this year is like the greatest thing. A lot of the things I just listed off are things that I've come in contact with in my own experience from things that I've been interested in. And I also did some, very preliminary research just to find a lot of these things. So I'm sure that the more research you do, the more opportunities you're going to find. So yeah, I hope that if you're on a gap year or thinking of taking a gap year, you find the balance between doing things for yourself and doing things for other people and doing things for your resume and developing habits and self-growth. It's all coming together, I guess. I've been on the gap year for 6 months and I'm like still figuring it all out. Yeah. So just finding that balance and finding what you love to do comes with time and experience and trying again and failing and trying again. And that's honestly the beauty of being on a gap year. You can try all the things and you have the whole year just to explore and until you succeed and find the perfect thing for you. I hope this video was helpful in giving you kind of both sides of the story, more personal things and more resume things. So I hope that was helpful and engaging and entertaining. So yeah, I think that's it. See you next video.